Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf live stream. So today, let me turn the volume down on that. Today I'm going to be talking about all things Harley, and I was giving you an update on the channel, all that kind of good stuff. And also stuff about the Sport Glide as well. And also just going to have a bit of a Q&A session later on, and some latest information I found out about the new Harleys ahead of next week when you got the Harley dealership show in the US, which is the official launch of all the new models and everything like that. So just give you a bit of an update on the channel. Still making lots of videos for the next sort of month, I suppose. Got lots of sort of vlogs, lots of sort of riding vlogs, moto vlogs, different issues pertaining to not only Harley riding or Sport Glide riding, but also for biking in general. So lots of different things going on there. Also looking at the tailoring different videos for different issues, whether it's on a Harley, whether it's on a Sport Glide, or whether it's on biking issues as well. So there's the moto vlogs, then there's also videos as well. So very similar to what I said to you last week, actually, in terms of trying to create more content. I'm debating whether to cut back on the daily postings. I'm not sure. I want to do it. I want to continue doing it, but I'm just wondering whether it's a bit too much. Not for me, but for the channel, for everybody. It depends. Some people say, or some experts, let's say, they say no, just post as much as you can every day. Others say no, don't. It's a difficult one. I'm not sure which way to go, really. So I have in the past gone to, let's say, 3 videos a week or 4 videos a week, something like that. But I end up backfilling all those other spare days as well because constantly getting ideas of what to talk about, really. And I think that's one of the things about having a channel, is about also coming up with lots of different ideas. If anybody's watching as well, I'll ask this time and time again, just make sure that the sound is okay. I'm trying a different sound here. You might see this contraption right here. It's the microphone I use for the podcast as well. So I've kind of rejigged a bit of everything. I wasn't too happy with the sound of the last live stream, and that came directly from the camera microphone, so I've sort of disconnected that. I hope that this is working well, but anyway. Right, to get the live chat. Live chat is up and running as well, so I'm having a look at that as well. Anyway, so the plan is, as I say, going to go through a bit of spending, a few quotes. I've got a couple of quotes here from Harley. Some dealership news, some colour schemes, which I'll talk about, and talk about Harley Davidson in general as a company, Sport Glide accessories, and obviously all the videos and stuff like that, which I'm talking about. And then we'll have a sort of Q&A session, and then some of the stuff that's been coming through on the comments and the emails and all that kind of stuff. And then finally we'll talk about anything that you've got about any known issues with the Harley Sport Glide or the Softail range, or the M8 engine, I suppose. But it doesn't have to be limited to that. It could be about any Harley, I suppose. Anything. I think keep it specific to the Harley. But look, if you want to talk about any other bike, I'm more than willing to talk about him, because I'm not just a Harley only, rider or those are the only bikes I like. I like all sorts of bikes. Right, so as I say, the channel is progressing, getting lots more views, getting lots more subscribers, which is really good, and thanks for that. There's a lot more. There's a lot more coming. I'm still undecided, as I say, whether to continue doing daily or not. And as I said just a minute ago, it's a case of actually trying to come up with new ideas all the time. And that's one of the things I've always been quite strong at, is coming up with ideas. So whenever I'm riding, or if I'm driving or doing something like that, I'm always thinking of different things. And now, as I've moved my attention away from writing a lot for different websites, or obviously the magazine and stuff like that, now I'm making more videos. I'm sort of focusing my attention on how to convert an idea into videos, and how to make it viewable or watchable, or whatever the term is. So look, I'm sure I'm going to be chopping ideas and change my mind a lot over the next couple of months. So the website, for example, has already got scheduled more than one daily blog post with videos and things like that, for the next until December, actually, would you believe? So there's lots of stuff on there. And one of the things I'm really pleased about with the website is that it's got, it will have a continuous blog post for 365 days. So I'm about 340 right now. So it's every day something's coming out there, and that's what I intend it to do. The website is always going to be the hub of everything that I do. Whether it's writing, whether it's making videos, whether it's ebooks or anything like that, it will all come from there. Anyway, right, so one of the things then I wanted to talk about today is, Harley owners and Harley spending habits, or Harley ride owners spending habits. Now, how can I put this and be really nice? The last week or so, my partner, as my other half, has started to come on the back of the bike with me, and it's all really good because she loves riding, but it's not always easy to find the time to go riding together. Anyway, so we've managed to get a few days. Anyway, the first day, she wasn't happy at all with the standard seat. We're all adults, let's face it, and it was too small. She kept on slipping off, and she almost felt as if she's going to flip over backwards. Now, I've also got one of these strap contraptions which you can strap around you. It's like a belt, but it's got two handles which you can hold onto that. So that yesterday we went out on it again. The other day we went out on it again, and yesterday again, and it was a lot easier for her to hold onto the strap. But still, she found it really uncomfortable. So I took her to the local Harley dealer, and I said, look, okay, we'll just go there, see if they've got any seats on other bikes that would also fit the Sport Glide, and see if you can sit on it and if you feel comfortable. Anyway, long and tall of it is, I got a quote for a new seat. It'll be Sundowner seat, and it's a touring seat, I think it is. Now, and a sissy bar. Okay, the sissy bar with a higher pad and the docking kit, with a back pad. And I also thought about getting a price quote for a rack. Crikey, with tax, with VAT, £813.17. I said to the guy, I'm going to need a mortgage for this, and he was kind of going, So, this is what she's doing. She's making me spend money. I'm not going to be spending that kind of money anytime soon. Basically, I was thinking I'd be spending my money elsewhere on some other things, like the bars, the exhaust, whatever, before I went to the seat. It might be that I go to the seat first. But then I started thinking about it. Actually, what she's really struggling with is not... Well, it is the seat and slipping the seat, and the size of the seat, of course it is. But it's also that feeling of going back as well, slipping back. And I think actually having the sissy bar just on there might work better. And I'll show you, if I can do this here, I'll show you exactly which one it was. Okay, right. So, if I bring this here for you guys. Transition, there we go. So this is the Sundowner seat, the lowrider Sundowner seat. I'm not exactly sure, I'm pretty sure that's the one he quoted me for, yeah. So it's, you know, it's a really comfortable seat, you know, for the rider, but also the pad. But you can see there's this little back pad here, sissy bar and back pad. I think that's not the one that I'm looking at. It's this one here. If I show you here, there we go. So it's this, and it's in black. So it sits a little bit higher up the back, and that's what will hold her in a little bit more. So it doesn't sit at the base of the spine, this pad. It's a little bit higher up. So the sissy bar is, you know, quite high, and it's on the black as well. So that's, I think that's what I'd go for first of all. See how that works. And it'd be good for my lad. He's only 13. He can go on the back as well. And he fits on the seat. But again, he has that sensation of slipping off as well. I think I might go that route first with the sissy bar. See how that works. See if it's at least usable. And then decide whether I want to go for a change of seat. I don't think I need a change of seat right now. Anyway. But the rack, I can show you here. Oh, well, so there's the pad right there. So basically, that just sits on top of the sissy bar, and then obviously you need the docking kit as well, which actually goes onto there. Now I've looked on eBay for sissy bars, and there's an outfit from Germany that's selling the sissy bar and the docking kit for about £170, something like that. But and it's got a built-on rack as well. That's the key here, but it's in chrome, and it's very hard to tell what the quality of this thing is like, and it is for a sport glide. So this is my next conversation really about accessories on the sport glide, what that will be. But anyway, so this is the backrest, the sissy bar with the backrest and the higher backrest. So I think that's what I'll go for. I think ultimately it will be the Sundowner. And what I like about this, all of this, it's all detachable within 5 minutes, so I can just put my normal seat back on if I'm riding by myself. And then, yeah, so that's the docking kit and the backrest there as well. But there we go. Right, let's just get rid of that. There we go, I'm back. So anyway, hopefully you saw that. Let me just quickly get back to here. Dashboard, right. Anyway, so that's that. Anyway, so that's what I've been looking at with the Harley Sport Glide. But it's a big price to pay for, dare I say it, occasional riding from having my partner on the back. And also my son on the back. So I think I'm going to try and find a way of minimising that cost. Everything. Look, I think it's one of those things, isn't it? You get your whoever, you take a pillion with you, whoever, whatever relationship they are to you, and you want to make it as comfortable for them as possible, because you want to make an enjoyable experience as possible. I'll say this time and time again, there's no point in taking anybody on the back if they're not going to enjoy it, or they're going to feel as if they feel insecure about going on the back. So, you know, I think it's almost like a responsibility to say, okay, if we're going to take people on the back, then I need it, you know, to do something about it. Possibly, what I should have done was have the Sundowner seat fitted right from the very start and factored that in for the price. But actually, I kind of like the line of the standard seat, the two-up seat, the one-piece two-up seat on the Sport Glide that I've got. So, you know, there is definitely a. I could have made a better decision possibly, you know, in terms of that, if I was thinking that far ahead. I had a feeling that carrying adults as a pillion on that seat it's an occasional use. It's an emergency seat rather than a proper seat, if you know what I mean. But anyway, £800 or £813, £17 as an estimate is a big chunk of change. So I think I can whittle that down with just the sissy bar and the pad and the docking kit. I think that's going to be about £300, you know, if I go through Harley. That is. This is of all if I go through Harley. So, you know, a lot of money to consider. Right. The next thing then, sort of wanted to talk about is the Harley news. Okay, the Harley dealership news. Now, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that is all coming, starting on the 20th. So where are we now? We're at the 18th, 2 days time. So Tuesday, isn't it, I suppose? Yeah, so that's all happening in the US. Still no further news on the Sport Glide. Obviously, they're coming out with the 2020 model. I have seen already from some dealerships in the US who are getting some early orders that they're showing off new colours or new combination colours. So they're looking. Sport Glide has definitely got this kind of burnt orange with a black streak on it. That actually looked pretty good, actually. Hey Rob, how are you? Good to see you here. Thanks very much. So that looks pretty good. That burnt orange look with a black streak. Interestingly, Fat Bob have gone all Kawasaki. With one of their colour schemes I've seen. They've got this kind of, the tank has got these kind of green Kawasaki stripes. If you know the Kawasaki, not the new Kawasaki colour, which is kind of that metallic-y green. The older colour, which is kind of just a bright highlighted green. They've gone that. They've also gone with a kind of Kawasaki silver and a Kawasaki grey as well, sort of combination with this green. It actually looked really good. I've got to say, I'm very rarely do I like a bike, any bike, whether it's Harley's or any other bike, that's got two-tone colours or lots of different colours. It's just not my style. But I will say this Fat Bob with the green stripes, with the silver, dark silver, the brushed. It's almost like a brushed aluminium look, accent pieces, and also with the almost like graphite grey colouring, almost like a matte black, I suppose. Looked the business. Looked the business. So that's as much as I know about the Sport Glide, or certainly the new colours. They're definitely getting new colours. I'm not sure which ones they're going to drop, which colours they'll drop, but they're definitely getting the new colours. I spoke to a couple of Harley people this week, and they're basically saying that everybody, and this is pretty much standard industry stuff, you would imagine, that everybody is very tight-lipped about what is going to be disclosed at the dealership show on Tuesday, in terms of the new models, paint schemes, equipment, engines, all this kind of stuff. They're going to be making. This is last year. I really wish it comes with a full 114. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, Rob. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what we're looking at with this bike. I've heard a lot of these bikes, the M8s, are dropping the 107 anyway. So it could be that that's where they're looking at. It's one of those things. I was accused this week, would you believe, from somebody who commented that I was copying another YouTuber. I mean, in terms of giving you this information or coming out with any information on it. If only it were that easy. Unfortunately, no, I have my own sources, my own people, and it's called research, and this all comes from, my magazine days as well. So the rumours are still there. Let's just leave it at rumours right now, that the Sport Glide is on its final year. Whether that is or not, we don't know. I'm not even so sure that they're going to announce that at the dealership show on Tuesday, on the 20th. I think they're going to just be very tight-lipped about it and just see how it goes. It may be that the sales really pick up over the next year, and then they may change their minds, if they ever had that in mind, to discontinue it. But who knows? It might be, as you say, Rob, that they say, right, we're going to get rid of the 107-inch and just up it to the 114-inch. That'd be interesting. That'd be interesting to see that, because is there a big difference between the 107 and 114? Yes, there are slightly different numbers, but the 114 which I rode, as I said in the previous live stream, it seemed to bottom out in power and speed, about 90 or 100, about 100 miles an hour. just didn't seem to have anything there. Whereas the 107s, all the 107s I had, seemed to have oodles of power. And this is not just at the higher speed. The 107s seem to be a lot smoother and accelerating anyway. So, but that could just be that 114 that I rode. But interesting. It'd be interesting to see. As I say, everybody's very tight-lipped about it. I've spoken to Harley Europe, I've spoken to a few dealerships, I've spoken to a few people who I know within the kind of the periphery of Harley, if you know what I mean, who have also got their fingers in lots of different information streams, and they've all confirmed recently and also in the past that this rumour of the Sport Glide is a big thing. I think we've all got to understand that Harley as a company are in a massive transition. They're in a massive transition of where they believe they should have been, where they think they should go, and where they are now. And they're looking at the customer base. They're looking at the hardcore customer base around the world, from within the US itself, which is a diminishing market as well. Especially amongst younger riders, okay, and all around the world. You know, it is still seen as an expensive product. It is still seen as a product that is not as well advanced as other brands. So they're having to come up with new ideas, and I think that's probably the big impetus to move away from their older engines and come out with the M8 engine as well. And that is a big shift for Harley in terms of the way their engines run. These engines, M8 engines, Milwaukee engines, are a lot smoother. They're a lot smoother in acceleration, powers. Hey Laurie from USA, hello. Good morning to you over there. Yeah, hopefully enjoy a cup of coffee with your breakfast there. Yeah, so I think, look, Harley as a company, there's a lot of movement there. There's going to be a lot of changes there. They're definitely chasing new demographics, new types of riders, different types of riders. Okay, they are looking at producing products that will appeal to non-traditional Harley riders, and I'm convinced that's why one of their first steps was with this M8 engine on the Softail range, well, and obviously in other bikes as well, to say we're going to make an engine that's a lot smoother, that is not so Harley, I hate doing that, but you know what I mean, not as Harley-esque, Yes, it's definitely pissed off a lot of people from, the traditional Harley world, because they're saying it's not the same as a Dyna or whatever other engine you want to think about. But it is definitely moved on. Now, is it going to be... Is they going to have problems with it? Of course, every engine, every new design has problems. Is there going to be long-lasting issues? Is there going to be reliability issues after a few years and things like that? Who knows? That's time will tell. But I don't think we can slate Harley. I don't think we can criticise Harley for trying to move into different directions. I think it's key to their survival for them to move into different directions and to attract different types of riders. But it's a balancing act. They've still got to retain the stalwarts. They've still got to retain the traditional Harley riders, and the biggest market is no doubt in the United States. But they're also saying, okay, well, where else around the world are people buying bikes? Are they buying Harleys? Can we convince them to buy Harleys? If we consider Harley now, the Far East, they're going to go into China with this new 338cc. They're working with a Chinese manufacturer to produce a Harley over there. Possibly they're going to move that into India. This is not the first time that Harley have teamed up with another foreign manufacturer. They've done it with Italians, Aero Meccanica, I think they're called, or Aero Marsci, in the 60s. They've done it in lots of different ways. A lot of guys say that, but the old demographic isn't buying new hubs. Yeah, do you know what? That's right. I mean, that's why they're having to change. They're having to change because, you know, Harley ownership and Harley riding ownership in the US has changed. You know, the people, whilst may be loyal to a brand, they may be loyal to have some kind of sense of patriotism, let's say, for example. It's the same here in the UK. You know, when Triumph made a resurgence, a lot of people have said, oh, I want to go back to a British brand, I want to go back to Triumph. And they had a huge surge of Triumph ownership. Well, one, they produced good bikes, you know, let's not forget that. But also, they were very smart in when they did it, and it was a gradual process. So they built up this huge following, not only here in the UK, but around Europe, but also in the United States. You know, I contemplate getting a 2019 Electric Glide standard because they offer it as the same price as Sport Glide, but stripped down too much. And an official tour bike, yeah, too big. Change is good. Just keep making parts. Yeah, exactly. Do you know what? I was actually looking at this Electric Glide. I was looking at this not Sport Glide, Street Glide, and Road Glide as well. Looking at those. But I had the same thing. You know, I think the kind of riding that I do, it needs to be a lot more adaptable. It needs to live it, you know, especially here in the UK. But if you live in any city in the world, it's all the same, or any kind of area that's got traffic density. You know, these kind of bigger bikes just don't. They work. Don't get me wrong, but it's just, you know, you're stuck in traffic all the time. You know, and it's just too cumbersome. I think, you know, having a bike that can actually get through traffic. Yeah, I know. It depends where you are in the United States and also around the world. So we allow, just as in California, we allow filtering, lane splitting over here, and in California, of course, you know, other parts of the states, I know they don't do that. They don't allow that. But look, you know, Harley are moving in the right. In my opinion, they're moving in the right direction. What is interesting now about the new engine that is coming out next year, well, we'll first see it in the adventure bike, the Pan America. That is going to be that next step, that next evolution in the way Harley are going. And you know, you were going to see that in the different bikes that are coming out. But look, interesting. Harley keep on saying, I hear rumours that they're looking at producing or having a stable of 100 bikes, 100 different models. Now, for any manufacturer, that is huge. That is huge. So, Rob, have you been riding without the bags and the Batwing? Actually, not a lot. A lot of my riding, I do always carry stuff, either to or from work or on my trips or whatever. But I have been looking at. I've actually got used to it. I actually enjoy riding with the fairing, would you believe, and with the bags, the panniers. So I quite enjoy it. I think one of the things is now that stripped down look. I've looked at the bike without the fairing, without the bags, and I don't like the look of it with those standard handlebars. I know it sounds daft, I know. But I think, for me, in its stripped down bobber type look, I prefer it with it will definitely be with the high bars. So that's where I'm going with the high bars as well. Ah, good, Laurie, you're putting on apes. Excellent. Yeah, thanks for the oh, thank you, Laurie. That's very kind of you. What apes are you going for? Are you going for those the ones from the Harley dealership, or are you going for you know, somewhere else? Like I don't know if you guys got custom chrome over there, Zodiac, as in, or are you going for like a Roland Sands type thing? The bars that I probably will be getting is something like a 12-inch mini ape, but they kind of we've got them over here. They're probably in the US as well. They're sort of chiseled type as well, that you call like that. I actually like that style. I've always liked that kind of. They're not. Oops, apologies. They're not the kind of U-shape ape hangers. They're the all mini apes. They kind of start at the yoke of the triple tree, if you like, and then they come up like that. I don't know if you guys know that. Yeah, just 10-inch factory. Yeah, okay, yeah. I understand. Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, I'm with you, Rob. I don't like the standard bars. You know, I think the bars ergonomically work brilliantly, and they look in keeping with the bike with the fairing. Remember, I mean, I put out a video a few days ago, didn't I, saying that, you know, the fairing will be one of the things I would say I'll get rid of straight away. But actually, I really like it. I like it with those bars. Put the bars out, take the fairing off. I just don't like the bars. Just don't like the bars as they are. You know, I've never really been into that kind of low. Anyway, so high bars for me. Definitely high bars. Right. 4-inch, risers with a bit of a drag bar. You see that? Yeah. 4-inch, bent risers. Oh, okay, the ones that come up like that. Okay, what is that, to bring it a bit closer to you? You're saying because you like a shorter reach on your bars, is that, and a bit of a drag bar, yeah. Okay, and the bars that kind of go like that and like that, right? Okay. You're seeing. Okay, yeah, just too low for you. Yeah, the ones I'm with you, Laurie. My preferred riding position, if you like, is higher up. It's just to have it below sort of shoulder height, where I can kind of rest my hands, rest my sort of shoulders, and even if I'm sat upright, I can just sort of sink into it, and that's a better riding position for me. Anyway, I think that's the classic thing, isn't it? That's the critical thing, is to find bars or find a height, whatever configuration that suits you, and suits wherever you're riding, and also how far you're riding and all that kind of stuff. Take care. Okay, gotta go. Ride safe. Yeah, you too, Laurie. Yeah, have a great Sunday over there as well. Enjoy. Right. So anyway, so that's interestingly from Harley, the way they're going to go. I'll be interested to see from an industry point of view what they're doing. I did a blog post a couple of weeks ago. Very interesting from some stockbroker analysts, I should say, who were looking at Harley as a company, and they were saying whilst they have been struggling for a long time, they're looking at the next 3 years, and they're saying actually Harley is a fantastic, a really good bet in terms of investment, in terms of, you know, as a company, in terms of growth and everything. And they were looking at from taking they were looking at over 5% growth or something, and an extra going up to 12% net profits, I believe. And over a 3-year period, and actually that's increasing from 9%. So actually, in terms of financial sense, the company are growing, and they're going to get better. I don't think this is based upon the American market. This is a global market, and of all the issues they've had to contend with, not only in terms of, you know, Trump's, you know, tariff gate type scenarios, but not only because of the changing tastes within the American market, but also possibly fortunes around the world as well. And this kind of diversification that they're looking at, Harley, not only the type of engines that are producing, the type of bikes that they're producing, but also the kind of rider that they want to attract. If you look at that Street Fighter that they're looking at producing, I think they want to call it, I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but the Street Fighter that they're looking for next year, 2020, possibly 2021, they're looking at calling that the Bronx. Okay, the Harley Davidson Bronx. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of that. But anyway, so that is, you know, a big shift away from, again, traditional Harley riding, isn't it? This sort of Street Fighter look. You know, that low custom, yes, I mean, that's kind of more Harley heartland. But looking with those engines, you know, I think they're going to make a lot of money. They're going to sell a lot of bikes with those engines, and also those engines are going to can be used in so many different bikes as well. And with the engine, I've done a couple of videos on this, but the engine is basically modular, so they can make a couple of changes and change it from a 1250cc, I believe, to a 975, to a 750 and a 500cc, just like that. So not an issue for them. to use this new bike engine platform to spurn lots of different engines, lots of different bike models as well. Right, yeah, anyway, so look, in terms of Harley as what they're going to tell us about all the different engines, all the different bikes, all this kind of stuff, we just don't know, do we? I mean, I think there's going to be a big play on accessorizing. I think there's going to be a big play on the live wire, of course, and also the Pan America, which is coming out at first quarter next year, I believe it is. So they're going to be looking at that. They're going to be pushing those. The Pan America, they've also, I don't know if you know about this, but the dual sport, well, it's not really dual sport, it's the adventure bike. They're also going to be releasing a video very, very soon, like a promotional video showing that. I've actually seen it already, and I think they're going to be making or pushing that video out in lots of the dealerships and stuff, showing how good this adventure bike is. I've done a video as well coming out soon about what I think will make that Pan America a success or a failure as well. There's lots of issues surrounding adventure bikes and off-road dirt riding bikes, so you've got to be particular about where you're aiming that bike and what it's going to be suitable for. Right, so the other thing we talked about, actually I've had quite a few comments and emails about this actually, is Sport Glide accessories. So I've been looking around at different accessories, different extra parts for the Sport Glide, not only 2018, 2019, which is essentially the same bike. Can't really gather any information about whether the 2020 is going to be a different bike entirely, have different elements, or whether they're just going to give you an option, as Rob said, whether it's the 107 or the 114 engine. Don't know yet. But there's lots of, on the website there is quite a bit, to get your teeth into. There are, a few options for exhaust. So I wouldn't say there's a great deal. Definitely in comparison to other bikes in the Harley, there isn't a lot, granted. I wouldn't be surprised if we see this year come out with more, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's more accessories from external companies coming in and looking at ways of changing the looks of the bike, or offering alternatives, or even offering a cheaper alternative, let's say, to the Harley products, let's say. Whether they're coming out the official catalogues, the custom chrome Zodiacs, or whether they're coming out of other, like Roland Sands or whatever, wherever you are. I mean, if you look at these, a lot of these accessory providers, they're still not looking at the Softail, specifically the Sport Glide, that much. So it'd be interesting. I still think there's a lot more to come from it. I think there's, this 2020 year will really determine whether Harley decide to keep the Sport Glide, but also whether Harley or other close manufacturers, accessory manufacturers around, start producing more accessories for that bike. It really depends. It's a numbers game, I think. I think if you look at the other bikes out there, or the other accessory manufacturers, and they're going to say, okay, on that bike, can we improve its performance? Can we improve its braking? All this kind of stuff. Can we offer alternatives to that bike? And they get the specs on that bike, and they'll say, okay, can we do better brakes on that? Can Performance Machines say, okay, we're going to do different things here, different things there? And I think, Roland Sands, all this kind of stuff, who are kind of on the, because they have a sport bike racing heritage, if you like. They, come back. I mean, I remember a few years ago when I interviewed Roland Sands as well. There was, you see, you didn't know that, did you? You said, you see, you did. When and we would, I gave him sent questions, and he sort of came back to me with we did this email Q&A type thing, and one of the interesting things is saying that he would love to do a lot more sports bike accessories. Yeah, he would love to do that, but the fact is that most of the sports bike stuff is performance based rather than aesthetic based. Whereas in the custom world or Harley world, actually, that's where the key is. It's actually providing aesthetic changes rather than performance changes. But he wanted to bring performance changes to Harley, and that's where it is. Hey, Frederick. Hello. How are you? Welcome. I'm here. Apologies to ride home late. No, not at all. No apologies required. Okay, Rob. SNS have a 124 kit for the 107. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, look, there's gonna be definite changes for look, the 107 or the 114 engine actually, in terms of stuff for our bike, is actually generic, isn't it? So that itself isn't going to change. There's going to be lots of stuff that you can do to a Sport Glide because it's the same engine. You in terms of upgrade performance and all that kind of stuff. But everything else. Now, one of the things, there's a video coming out soon. I'm talking about the suspension on the Sport Glide. And yes, we can, change the rear suspension. Make alterations to the rear suspension, the preload and everything. On the Sport Glide, we've got the dial on the side. On other Softails, you've got the key inside underneath the seat and all that kind of stuff. But there's nothing on the front suspension. I've been speaking to a few Harley dealerships. I've been phoning around. There's nothing available. Now, if you look at other bikes, pre this new Softail, the Dyna, the Sportster, all that kind of stuff. The manufacturers were making front suspension preload adjusters that you just take the cap off, put these in, and they'll do that. There's nothing there for the Sport Glide or the Softail range. These are upside down forks for a change. I think if we're talking about accessories, I think this is the area which other manufacturers are looking at to say, okay, can we make changes to that? Can we improve the handling, the performance? The performance, yes, but can we improve the handling? Can we improve the braking? All that, as well as all the aesthetic stuff. Making things look nice and look pretty, whatever. Okay, it's heavy rain up there. Actually, you know what? Over here in the UK, we had a lot of rain the last few days, and actually a lot of rain this morning. It's beautiful now. I'm going to be riding off to work in a moment, but I think the heavens are going to hold up there. Here, a lot of the 1-inch riser for the back shock. Yeah. So there are adjustments on the rear shock. With the changing, you can get different shocks. You can get different springs for the front forks, but there's nothing on the front for adjustability. There's nothing you can do. So this is what I said to the Harley guy, the dealership. I said, look, I come from different types of bikes, racing bikes, whatever, road bikes, different types of bikes, where you can adjust the rear, but you can also adjust the front. So let's say you're carrying two up, you loads of baggage, whatever. You can actually adjust the rear because you're going to have to adjust that preload for the weight, but that's also, you're going to need to adjust the front to make that a better ride, to either softer or harder according to what kind of ride you want to do. And also under braking as well. If you're carrying a heavy load, you might want to stiffen up that front suspension, because under braking you can have a greater momentum going, pushing you forward. So you need to have that, better suspension. It depends on the type of ride that you're doing as well. So I think that's where a lot of this new accessories or new performance upgrades that we can do to our Sport Glide, I think possibly that's where we're going to look at as well. I think it's still a mystery why there isn't, you know, as much for the Sport Glide as compared to the other Softails. And maybe this is what has generated this whole myth, perhaps, or this whole rumour about, well, this is, they're going to stop making the Sport Glide. You speak to other people and say, no, definitely not. There's no way they're getting rid of that Sport Glide. It's going to be here for forever. Who knows? You know, that's the beauty of it, isn't it? Right, so I just want to talk about some of the videos that are coming up, which I've decided to talk about in terms of purely the Sport Glide, actually, but I suppose you could talk about other bikes in the Softail range as well. A lot of the videos, it's not only about the Sport Glide on the road, but it's also the Sport Glide in different riding configurations. How good is it? How capable is it? So you'll see a lot of those kind of moto vlogs over the next sort of month as well. I'm also looking at different technical issues as well. I'm talking about the suspension. There's you know, getting ready for autumn and winter. I've just ordered my ACF 50 here as well, the whole litre of it, so I'm going to be spraying the bike up as well. Yeah, what's that? Okay, the 501, yeah, what, the shock and the front suspension, is that right? 510 for the, I don't know the numbers, yeah, but is that the springs, yeah, you're talking about? So, yeah, so I've talked about the suspension, also about draining fuel. Now, if you look on the left side of the engine for the Sport Glide, I'm not 100% sure if it's on the other Softail models as well. You'd have to look on those particular bikes. But you've got the pipe, well, it's the Schrader valve that comes from the base of the tank. There is like a union, and there is like a little valve there as well. What you can do is actually, now they use that valve, that connection port, for fuel pressure testing when they're in for servicing and all that kind of stuff. So I've been saying, okay, well, actually, let's say if you had to drain fuel from a tank, and I've made a video about fuel starvation and fuel planning and taking extra fuel. Could you take fuel from that point? And I had a feeling you couldn't, but I checked it with Harley and say, no, you can't, because it's a pressurized system. It's almost like goes one way, it doesn't come out the other. I still think you could. I still think there is a way of doing it, but there we go. Anyway, so there's bits of that. You saw in the last live stream, and also made a video now about the EITMS, which is the engine idle temperature management system, which is effectively hotter temperatures above 80 degrees. When you're at idle, when you're actually stationary, the fuel injection is a shut off for the rear cylinder, so that stops it overheating. So I've made a video about that as well. So there's lots of videos coming up, and I think it's one of those things that you can just keep on making videos. But interestingly, about this channel, I never thought that I would be making necessarily Harley videos, or for that matter, necessarily making motorcycle videos. I think when I first started it, I was really talking about a range of subjects, but I kind of looked at it from a biking point of view, or a biker's point of view, and that's where the subtitle of my channel is Biker's Life Less Ordinary, because it kind of talk about lots of different things. I kind of talk about the stuff that I find really interesting, or stuff that's really interesting to me. And the website is exactly the same. That's it's motorcycle specific, of course, but it started off with lots of other things as well. But I kind of look at it from a motorcycling point of view, or motorcycling eyes. But it's good that on all the videos, and getting lots of comments now, which is really good. Still getting lots of emails, questions on the emails, which is really good as well. And interestingly, the emails on the questions from the comments, also questions from emails more specifically, they are the impetus, if you like, to make more videos as well. They give me ideas. So if you've got questions, please send them in via the website. or if you've got an idea, or if there's something you're not too sure about, send in an email, and then I'll investigate it as well, and I'll come up with a video as well, hopefully. I think that's one of the things, isn't it, really, just to try and find answers to lots of different questions, not only about the sport glide, but anything in general as well. Related to motorcycling, of course. I haven't been able to do it this year. I said a few months ago that I wanted to go to lots of different motorcycling events, and do like kind of either podcasts or vlogs from those events. I've been to quite a few. I only did one last week. I haven't really done much, and possibly I may do a few more before the end of the season. I'll see. I might be going back to Motorcycle Live again in Birmingham in November, have a good walk around. I may do another vlog there. I did a big one for last year and that got lots of views. So I might do another one for there as well. I'll see. It's great, look, getting lots of support from lots of different people out there, which is great. And that's sort of been reflected in the subscribers as well. I know it's still a very small channel in the grand scheme of things when you compare it to everybody else. But, it's regardless, it's still great to get all these subscriptions and also all this comments and everything. I can see there's growth there as well. Because, look, there's no doubt when you do this kind of thing, you do have days where you think, is it really worth it? Well, am I just wasting my time here? But at the same time, it's good when you do live chat and speak to me directly, and you can tell that people are watching your stuff as well. I popped into a Harley dealership yesterday, as I was saying at the start of the live stream, because my partner was uncomfortable on the seating, so I went to look at different seating options and sissy bar options and all that kind of stuff. Saw Sport Glide rider went by, gave me the thumbs up and everything. Notice on his back he's got he's from the Netherlands as well. So now whether he's actually from the Netherlands, I don't know. Actually, do you know what? I can't remember the registration plate. It might have been a British bike. In fact, I think it might have been a British registration. He may just have been to the Netherlands. I don't know. Or he might just be a Dutch rider who's living over here, who's bought a bike over here. Anyway, if that was you at the Reading Harley dealership, say hello next time. Good. I would like to meet face to face more Sport Glide riders, or anybody. Yeah, anybody that's going. But I do want to make a series of videos of my stock bike against a modified bike. More specifically, exhaust modifications as well. Whether they're just a slip-ons, whether it's a complete system, whether it's with or without stage one, that kind of thing. I want to do like a side-by-side comparison. I think, I think that's just going to be every now and again. If I ever get the opportunity, I will do that. So anybody can see, okay, well, this is what this exhaust sounds like as opposed to the stock one. So anyway, but that's it. Right, so what have I found out this week about any more issues with the Sport Glide that need resolving? So, interestingly, I just released a video this morning about some chafing, some scuffing on the top of the yokes, where the fairing is kind of vibrating. So watch the video, you'll see what the solution I've got for that. It's a very minor issue, but it is their issue. Look, there's always going to be riders out there who get certain issues with their bikes, but the thing is, it's like a one-off issue, or is it a known issue across lots of different bikes? I think it's how a manufacturer look at it. If it's under warranty, it's under warranty. Who cares? Be all very aware, though, that if you've got a brand new bike, a brand new Harley, I'm not sure if it gets all Harleys, I'm pretty sure it is. The warranty, certainly in the UK, let me know if you're from other parts of the world whether this is true, but it doesn't cover the clutch. I didn't know that when I first bought it. There we go. It doesn't cover the clutch, the warranty. Because they're saying, well, it depends how you ride it, how you use the clutch, you know, that would determine that. Well, mate, if I decide to get mine, I'll drive you away. Don't know the season. Oh, okay, that'd be good, Rod. Yeah, good. Yeah, always let us know. Always know. Maybe I'll wait to 2020 next year. Yeah, absolutely. But that would be good, you know. So, but there are always going to be issues with any bike, aren't there? There have been issues with the M8 engine, which they have resolved, and they were early sort of teething problems. There are lots of people out there who will try and make big issues out of this new engine. There's been a big backlash, of course, against the M8 engine from older Harley riders, let's say, especially from the Dyna crowd who didn't really like it. But I think that's just time. Time will, you know, change people's minds, I think. And I think there's no doubt this M8 engine is a lot smoother, you know, and it's smoother to ride. It makes a funny kind of sound. You know, if you've ever ridden it, you'll know what I mean. Is that there is that kind of, at the top end, you can hear this kind of whispering sound. It's almost like, it's not tappets, but you know what I mean. It's almost like it's almost like a little, I don't know what to describe it. But, you know, in terms of mechanically, it's great. It's great. So far, for me, anyway. Yeah, I've heard of a few, you know, exhaust clamp issues. Yeah, who knows? I've heard of a few, say, scuffing issues. Haven't heard anything other than that. I mean, I've gone through some pretty awful weather, ridden through some awful weather the last sort of week or so, and it's been absolutely fine. It's been absolutely fine. I went through almost a foot of water the other day, splashed everywhere. It just kept on trudging through, so that's good. If you get cam set, it will sound more like an even. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll be interested to see what the different stages are, how much more of a benefit that you get from it. Because I think, you know, anybody past the stage 2, you look at it, you've got to be riding that bike hard to get that benefit, I think. Because otherwise there's just no point. If you're riding it about 70, 80 miles an hour most times, the only real time is if you're going to accelerate really hard and you're getting a higher torque, a higher HP, right from low revs to high revs, and, you know, you kind of step up a little bit. It'd be interesting to see. It'd be interesting to see how many people are using this M8 engine and how many people are going beyond the stage 1 option, stage 2 option as well. And look, I think we're only going to know this once it's been out 3 or 4 years, 5 years. You know, when people really do start making that options, maybe they're getting tired of the performance of these M8 engines, and they really want to sort of step it up. You know, they can do that now, of course, but I'm saying, you know, time will give more people, you'll get more data from more riding experiences and what people like and what they think is deficient and what they think is not, you know. But there's definitely room for evolution of this M8 engine. There's definitely room for evolution of the Sport line if they continue to make it. I don't know. I mean, when I made the video about are they going to keep it, I'm hopeful. Obviously, they keep it. It wouldn't bother me if they discontinued it because I've got mine, and I'm sure the parts will always be there, so I'm not concerned about that. I just don't think that they will get rid of it. Though I'd be very surprised. If they decide to get rid of it. I think it's more likely that they would choose another bike to discontinue. I don't know. Like FXDR or something like that, which they're making a big push for now as well. But for me, that doesn't really, you know, pluck at the heartstrings of the traditional Harley rider, and it doesn't seem to attract new Harley riders to me, you know, in terms of aesthetics. Whereas the Sport Glide kind of sits in both camps. It'll go to the traditionalists, but it also go to the new Harley crowd, if you like. But anyway, But you know, also if you're watching this live stream or you're watching it afterwards in the post recorded, let me know what you think of the sound as well, and if that's okay, that's all coming through nice and clear as well. I'll be doing a podcast this week as well on various issues, so watch out for that. That'll also come out on the channel, but it'll also come out via the website on Spotify, SoundCloud, and iTunes as well. So I'll be doing another one of those, discussing different issues. Right, well, unless there's anything else, I know. So I didn't mean to start this early today. I was going to try and start a little bit later at 2 o'clock, but so I've got to go to work. I'm doing night shift, yeah. So looking out the window here, yeah, it all seems relatively dry. Roads have dried out. Going to get out on the road and do some riding, maybe another vlog, whatever, we'll see. Might pop down to one of the biker cafes here and see what's happening there. But anyway, so if you guys are out and about today, ride safe, and well, all that kind of good stuff. So if you got any questions, please email it in via the website, or if you get any ideas for a video or anything like that, let me know. Sound is fine. Great. There's a bit of an echo, so maybe the sound... yeah, it's definitely the room. Definitely the room. Right, okay, but say lots more videos. So if you've got any ideas or questions, pop it in the comments or just email. Email is probably the best way to contact me as well. But anyway, I'm still finding lots of points with the Sport Glide to discuss. And it's funny, probably... as I said in probably one of the earlier videos, is this bike more than anything else, any other bike I've had, I'm probably the most paranoid about trying to find little issues with it and trying to come up with a solution so it doesn't get worse, all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking at that. I'm going through the manual. I'm going through the service manual. So research-wise, I'm trying to do more than I've ever done. Right. Sightseeing tour of your town would be great on the bike. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. I can do that, Frederick. No problem at all. Yeah, I'll probably do something like that coming soon. Little sightseeing tour of the surrounding area. So I do a few moto vlogs of my favourite riding roads around here as well. A lot of it, as I say, over the last sort of 2 or 3 years. And then when I started making videos for this channel, I started on another channel which was related to my old magazine. But then I kind of stopped that and I carried on here. But most of it was down off-road riding, adventure bike riding and stuff like that. So. Yeah, it's good. I mean, this is interesting. What I always say, Frederick, about YouTube channels. It's interesting. Sometimes I make these videos, and it kind of dawned on me that you make these videos, and you're not necessarily making the videos for the guy next door or for the guy, the guys from the same area as you, because you all know the area, so it's no real big deal, is it? But actually, you're kind of making videos for people who live on the other side of the world, who are not from your area. So that's what it is. Hey, good morning, D-Cycle. Good morning. How are you? I'm so glad you have joined us. I'm really glad. Now, I wonder if you can answer this question. On your video, you had fuel leakage, right? You took it into the dealership, because I spoke about this on the last live stream. You took it into the dealership and they turned the fuel pressure valve 180 degrees. Right. My question to you, and I think I put on a comment on one of your videos, was this a problem that somebody had put the fuel pressure valve in incorrectly in the first instance, or is this an issue with that fuel pressure valve? Full stop. And why is just turning it 180 degrees, why does that solve the issue? Is it a case that somebody's done some work on your fuel pressure system and they put it in incorrectly? What do you think? Hello? Hello? So we'll wait for you to come up with an answer there. But anyway, so I suppose that it's somebody that actually put that fuel pressure regulator in incorrectly at some point. But who knows? But anyway, yeah, so, but definitely, yeah, I'll make a few more videos of the surrounding area. I want to try and get some kind of relationship going, not only with a local Harley dealership, but also with some other dealerships as well. It's difficult. Okay, yeah, yeah, so yes, this was an issue off the line, just something missed, I suppose. Yeah, okay. That makes a lot of sense to me. That makes a lot of sense. Well, thanks for answering that. I really appreciate that. Okay, because I've got a feeling, because, just, flipping a component 180 degrees, well, why would that make any difference? So it's obviously, it only fits in one way, and obviously it was fitting incorrectly. Fine. Yeah, thanks for that. Anyway, some more videos will be coming out soon. So I'll make videos of the surrounding area. I do want to get some kind of relationships with Harley dealerships or any other kind of dealership. I had a relationship with Harley Europe. They offered me a oh, thanks, man, thanks. Yeah, I enjoy your videos too. Yeah, thanks. But I had a relationship with Harley Europe where they tried to offer me an ex-police Harley bike a few years ago for this other safety program which I was running. I'm not sure whether the same people there are there anymore, so I kind of lost contact. So I've been trying to contact them this week about trying to get an early look at the Pan America here in Europe. And usually these things go to the big media outlets and not to, guys like us. But anyway, I'll see how that goes. I'll see. I mean, I'm still going to keep on trying to get in touch with these guys, and I think it's one of those things. You develop whether it's a website, a blog, or a YouTube channel, and the bigger you get, the more attractive you are to start working with these other companies as well, or dealerships or whatever, because there's going to be an exchange, isn't there? They're going to say, okay, well, we'll give you something, but you just mention us in your video. Even now, I get emails sent to me on a daily basis from companies saying, will you do, a sponsorship deal with me? I've only got 500 subscribers, for me, which is fantastic, but, for them, and you think, okay, and, it's some random stuff, got nothing to do with biking, or biking accessories, or lifestyle, or anything like that. It's weird stuff. I had a vaping one the other day. I had, what was it? The other one was, it was to do with stationery or something, a stationery supplier. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway, right, D-Cycle, thank you. Question: rumours about the Sport Glide being discontinued. Does the value of our bikes go up? Do you know what? Okay, if this is what I was talking about this earlier on. If the bike is discontinued, we're going to find out some more answers the next few days, aren't we? And when they have their dealership show. If let's say they decide that they're going to discontinue the bike, I've no doubt that the value of the Sport Glide will go up. No doubt in my mind, because it will be a scarce commodity, won't it? You're going to have people. Now, I'm not saying they go up by a lot, but what I'm saying is that the existing Sport Glide owners will possibly see the rate of depreciation on those bikes definitely reduce. You're going to be able to retain your money, no doubt. I'm not too sure whether they will be discontinued. I think this next year, 2020, is going to be a huge determining factor for the Sport Glide, from Harley. They're going to decide, okay, how many sales are we going to get, not only globally, but also in the US. If the US market picks up with the Sport Glide, then they may change their minds. But I definitely think that the Sport Glide value will increase. over it. And let's not forget, lots of the components on that Sport Glide are, the same as the other Softails as well. So there's not, you could say there are a lot of differences. Of course there are, because it's a different bike, but there's lots of commonality as well. So, in terms of parts and everything, wherever you are in the world, that's never going to be an issue. In terms of accessories, yes, it's a small market accessories right now, but I think that's going to improve. But I think this 2020 year is going to be it'll be the big year. Definitely be the big year for it. Morning, Mike. Good morning. Yes, so yeah, I agree. I'm glad you do. Thank you. Yeah, collectors. It will be a little bit collectors. I think, Frederick. I think if they decide to go that way. Good morning, Mike. Yes. Yeah. Hope you're well. You're Nashville, aren't you? No, you're not Nashville. I'm sure you were there somewhere. What time would it be there now? About 9 o'clock in the morning, something like that. They will get 100 new models in the next 10 years. Yeah, that's right. That's right. They are looking at that. We are seeing the big evolution now, the big shift in Harley manufacturing dynamics. We've already seen it with the M8 engine. That is the first step, in my opinion. Oh, sorry. Okay, let me rephrase that. That's the first big step. They've done it previously. They did it with the street bikes, which haven't been a success. You got warehouses full of these things that people don't want to buy them, right? Because not only are the type of bikes they are, but also the competition that they're facing within that field, they're never really sold up. That's why they haven't really sold. They also had recall issues with this, the street bike as well. So, the issues. Yeah, Nashville. I knew it was. Yeah. 8:11 in the morning. That is, yeah. Here's the coffee. Good man. Crikey, I've been speaking too long. That's gone cold. Yeah, look, Frederick, there's no doubt that the whole motorcycle market, from every manufacturer, is going down the electric route. There is no doubt. Interestingly, and I believe BMW, but I'm not 100% sure on BMW, but definitely Kawasaki are patenting and they're looking at prototype hybrid motorcycles right now. So that's what they're looking at. So they're looking at part electric, part so there's a hybrid, a gas petrol sort of engine, something like that. They're looking at lots of different variations. So they're not just going down this electric route, they're also looking at other avenues as well. I think pretty sure BMW there. And I wouldn't be surprised if somebody like Harley also go there as well. All the manufacturers, we know that Harley are diversifying into the smaller engine CC. This is not the first time they've done this in their history. We're also looking at Harley diversifying into other modes of transport as well. The electric scooters, the electric stand-up scooters as well. So it's a thing. There's been, I say, a big evolution, a big change with this M8 engine and with the Softails. We're going to see another big evolution with a new engine, the 60-degree liquid-cooled engines coming in. I think effectively that's a Sportster replacement engine. I think it may not be a Sportster bike replacement, but that is the new, compact, powerful engine that they're going to go for, and liquid cooled as well. Which is, whilst it's not the first liquid cooled engine that Harley had produced, this is possibly going to be their most successful one as well. Oh, sorry, my dog's just coming, wanting some attention. Actually, do you see many of the sport glides around here? I did. Interestingly, where I live, there's a guy just round the corner. He kind of waved me the other day, and he's got one. There's a couple round the corner as well. Here in Europe, they actually sell quite well. They have sold really well. I've seen quite a few now on the road, and not many that have been customised in any way. Not many. Possibly seen one one with higher bars, and I've seen one with a different exhaust so far. But that's it. So not a great deal. I'll give it that. Now I went to a motorcycle meet last week, and there was well over 1,000 bikes. This wasn't just Harleys, by the way. There's every bike you can think of there. Interestingly, I saw about 5 sport glides there, and they're all completely standard, all completely stock as well. Yeah, you see now. Yeah, so street glides, interesting. So the street glide is the smaller of the bagger. Is that right? That one. And yeah, because it's interesting, isn't it? I think this whole sport glide thing may be down to the types of rider, but also the types of road which you might be riding on. I've got a big feeling that's what determines its success, or should I say the lack of success in the United States as opposed to its success in Europe. We got a lot of tighter roads, twistier roads, lots more kind of condensed traffic. Whereas United States, obviously, you've got big expanses, big highways, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, obviously, all cities, every city in the world is congested, but so I think your road network lends itself better to a big touring type bike. And whilst that street glide is on the smaller edge of it, you've almost got a bit of crossover there, haven't you? You've got sport glide and then into sport glide and then into street glide. You've almost got that bit of crossover where they're almost level. You've got the soft air coming up into the that sort of touring-esque type. But I like the street glide actually. I think when I was looking at the bikes, I thought, do you know what? That's not a bad. It's not my style, but I thought actually I like that. I like that a lot. I like that big fairing. I like all the dials set up, arranged the way they are. I like that kind of feeling. I spoke to a guy who he's not a street glide he had. I forgot what it's called, but he showed me his big touring. I can't remember. It's some CVO. I can't remember what it was. But it was just it is awesome. It's immense the way that bike looks. And also, I was thinking about rider comfort and also passenger or pillion comfort. And I talked about this right at the start of the stream, that I've just got my partner coming on the back of my bike and she's finding it really uncomfortable. So maybe I should have gone for a touring seat option. But if I was on different roads, you know what? I may not have gone for the sport glide. I may have gone for something like a street glide as well. But the thing that I chose the sport glide for was because of its versatility, pure and simple. Great looking bike, I love it. Great riding bike, love that. Great handling bike in the twisties, works really well. It's fast, it's responsive, it's agile. It's just a great bike. But I know that I can use that as a commuter. I know I could use that as a tourer. I could use that as strip everything off, and I could just bomb in between traffic and go into cities, in and out. Do you know what? Yeah. So, Frederick, here in Thailand, most of the sales are sportsters and street glides. Oh, okay, yeah. I understand that soft airs are too expensive for the poor, so not big enough for the riches. It probably, hits that middle ground, doesn't it? I mean, I don't know what the real reason is. It's not really selling, possibly. It possibly could be that. It possibly could be that it's not enough of the touring and it's not enough of the street. It's kind of going into a no man's land, and I think that's where it's breaking new ground, the sport glide. I think that's where it makes it so appealing for me, that it hit a market that hadn't really been tapped into successfully. Now you've got a bike. Harley have got a bike that fits that mold, that fits that type of rider, that fits that rider that doesn't want it too big, doesn't want it too small, wants it agile enough, wants to get it, get down the road, but wants the versatility to be able to load up, you know, pack the panniers and go off somewhere. Or, you know what, just pop down to the local store, the local shop, and just buy some whatever groceries and not have to worry about putting it on their back in a backpack. Just stick it in a box, off you go. That's it. Have to go, mate. Hey, Rob, thanks for joining in. Really appreciate that, and happy riding there, mate. I traded, Mike, I traded my Road King and T120. Do you have a T120, is it? In on my USG. The nimble nature probably was the main impetus. Yeah, I agree, Mike. Completely agree. I think that... Do you know what? When and I talk about this a lot because I'm not a traditional Harley rider. In fact, you know, this is the first Harley that I've owned, not ridden, because I've ridden lots of Harleys before. But I'm not a fan. Not a fan. I'm not one of those people who would say, love Harley, love everything they do. No, did not. Go back in the day, no, just I didn't like the way they looked. I didn't like the way they rode. I didn't, you know, lots of different things. Apart from a couple of models here and there. But when I got onto that Sport Glide, and I've got to say a big shout out to a mate of mine who I met at a Harley bike night one night. I just popped along, and he said, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm thinking about a street bob, you know, because I like the street bob dyno, you see. I'm thinking about that, you know." And he said, "Yeah, but you carry a lot of stuff, and you still do." I said, "Yeah, I do, and so I said, well, maybe the street bob isn't for me." He said, Sport Glide. And I was like, "Oh yeah, what's all this?" He said, "No, trust me, Sport Glide." He said, if it wasn't for the bike that I've got, I can't remember what he's got. I think he might have a Street Glide or an older one. I don't know, whatever he's got. But he said he's very close to trading his in for a Sport Glide, which is a lot more versatile. And I tell you, I was sold as soon as I saw it, but definitely as soon as I rode it. And you can tell that in my bike review. You check out the bike review of the Sport Glide, because I've done the Sport Glide, the Street Bob, the Softail Slim, the Fat Bob, but you can tell in my enthusiasm for that Sport Glide on the review, and that enthusiasm for that bike still is exactly the same today. If no, sorry, I tell you that's lying. It's not today. It's not the same today. It's even more today, and that's the way I feel about it. It's just brilliant. The difference is that between dancing with a fat girl and a bishop with a figure skater. If that's not too sensitive a comparison, no, it's perfect. It's perfect. I like that. I have to go, so have a good day and keep making me. Oh, thank you, D-Cycle. Yeah, and you too. You enjoy that. So everybody watching the live stream, go over to D-Cycle as well. He's really cool. He's making great videos about Sport Glide and all that other kind of biking stuff over there as well. Good stuff. Right. Anyway, look, really good to speak to you all. So I've got some more videos coming out, lots more over the next few weeks. I've already developed those, some ideas. Always coming out with new ideas, or trying to come up with new ideas. Looking deep into the Sport Glide as well, in terms of accessories, in terms of what you can do as a rider with your existing bike. What little changes you can make, or where you can add things or shave things, all that kind of stuff. So that's sort of stuff that I'm looking at. I'm a new Harley rider, a new Sport Glide rider who's asking lots of questions, and I'm asking questions of Harley, of the dealership, of the bike itself, and I'm putting it through its paces and I'm saying, okay, does it do what I want it to do? Those are the kind of videos which, for the Sport Glide, I'll be making, as well as other stuff as well. Recommend adding a docking kit and various hold-fast components, luggage racks. This is a tour pack. Oh, this is for you. Do you know what? Yeah, Mike. Yeah, right at the start of the stream, I say, because I took my partner in about getting a new seat, and I think actually, the first thing that I'll be getting, I thought my first modification would be high bars, and I thought the second one would be the exhaust. But I think actually the first thing is going to be a sissy bar with a higher back pad, obviously with a docking kit as well. I'm looking at a rack as well, but I can bolt that on future days. I think that's going to be the first thing I do before I change the seat. I'm going to see how that works, because my son and my partner only come on the back of my bike very occasionally, so I don't really want to go for the big expense of the sundowner seat just yet. I want to try and save my shekels if I can. Yeah, I have also gone all stage one using the Cobra dual cut as the choice. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. Have you actually done that? You've actually put that on, have you? And how's that working out for you? You notice a big difference in the performance, or is it just sound, or or anything like that? Yeah, I think it's great in speaking to you guys, in finding out what you guys are doing, what thoughts you have on different modifications, and if they work, all that kind of stuff. I tell myself to get the tool pack and want to buy the Sport Glide. Yeah, the docking kit looks very practical to put or take off. Yeah, I think this kind of stuff with the docking kit makes the soft tails, makes the Sport Glide just even better, because you want a bike that you can just strip off and it transforms the look of it, or you keep it as it is, as you want. But anyway, look, there's there's lots more videos coming about the Sport Glide, and what I'm finding out about it, and any issues that I found out about it, and I'll try and bring that to you as well. So if you've got any questions or any things that you find out about your bike, let me know. Email, put it in a comment as well, if you like, and I'll try and come up with a solution, or try and find a solution to that particular issue as well. But anyway, right, I'm going to be heading out now, because so I've got to go to work in about an hour's time. Yeah, on the night shift again. So hopefully the heavens, I think we're going to be clear weather from now on. But the wind's picking up a little bit, but that'll be interesting riding. Anyway. Sound, okay, so you've done the mod with the exhaust. Sound is increased, of course, yeah. The big change is mid-throttle response. The motor stock is instantly on tap with no hesitation or spool up. Not radical, but definitely notable. See, okay, so that's my kind of modification, which I like. Yeah, that's good. Well, this is one thing I have noticed in this last week only. On my throttle, there's just a little bit of play. It's not play. It's like there's like a dead zone just as you turn on the throttle. Sometimes, not always. Sometimes there's a little bit of it's almost like you crack it, like just about 3-4 mil, and there's nothing there, and then all of a sudden you feel it. Now, when you're just riding it, you don't really notice it, and most of the time you're holding it past that, off position. But when you're first, setting off, I get about 2 or 3 mil, 4 mil of movement on the throttle, nothing, and then it comes into life. Now, I'm not sure if that is, other Sport Glides are getting that. Let me know if any others, from I suppose if you've done modifications, it'll be different now. But if it's a stock bike, if you've got that kind of play with a dead zone, about 3 or 4 mil of initial throttle, I'd be interested to see. But it's not a problem. I don't think there's definitely not a fault there. But I think that's going to be another question I'll be asking Harley as well, whether they can modify and change that a little bit. But anyway, right, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to have some lunch. Enjoy your breakfast. Enjoy your midnight snack, Frederick, as well. Enjoy your breakfast, Mike. And thanks for watching. Right, and I say lots more videos coming out on a daily basis. Lots more stuff coming out. I might make a couple of extra ones, which I might put out if I hear something specific in the next couple of days, obviously with a Harley dealership launch and all that kind of stuff. If I hear something new, I'll let you know straight away. I'll probably just do a quick live stream or something like that. Probably easier to do it that way anyway. But thanks for all the support. Thanks for all the comments and the videos. Thanks for joining in the chat. Really appreciate that. Thanks for getting onto the website and sending in messages and emails. I say that really helps. That really helps me come up with ideas for different videos and for different live streams as well. As I say, that's why I keep on looking here, because I'm looking at my playlist, if you like, of what I wanted to talk about. So that really helps. So keep on sending in the questions. You know, right now I'm at a stage where I'm absolutely trying to answer every single question that is put to me, and answer every single comment. If this keeps on going, you know, it might be a case where I may not be able to answer all the questions, but I've got an idea that I can address the questions in live streams. So I might not answer every single question, but I might say, okay, I'm going to do a weekly live stream, and that'll be a big Q&A about different questions and everything like that. So anyway, but that might be a way to go. That might be a better way to manage speaking to everybody as well. We'll see. Right, Mike, Frederick, everybody else, bless you all. Enjoy your riding. Enjoy what you're doing today, or tonight, or tomorrow. And I'll catch you on the next video. Please like, share, subscribe, leave loads of comments below. Check out the website, all that kind of good stuff. And I'll catch you again. Ta-da. Got to turn this off now.